Hello and welcome. My name is Mike Sutherland. I'd like to thank you for your interest in the Christian Apologetics 101 curriculum. I developed a passion for Christian apologetics years ago when I discovered that there's an entire field of study dedicated to the understanding of why Christians believe what we believe. To me, this was a godsend because I had the need to add facts to my faith. My studies ended up with me getting a master's degree in Christian apologetics at Biola University, and I developed this 12-week curriculum because a lot of people at my church wanted me to teach them what I'd learned at school. Since then, I've taught it dozens of times, and by popular demand, I made it available on the web for others to use. Since then, by God's grace, it has been presented in small groups and churches literally thousands of times. This is a curriculum designed to give an introduction to Christian apologetics. That is, what we believe and why we believe it. We actually have a mandate to do this, given to us in 1 Peter, where he tells us to always be prepared to give reason for the hope that we have. That word reason is from the Greek word apologia, from where we get the word apologetics. So the study of apologetics is simply the study of the evidences of our faith. Now, my Christian experience has been all over the map. I was raised in a Christian home, but had to know why things are like they are. I had a million questions when I was a kid. Things like, was there really a magic apple in the Garden of Eden that affects me to this day? Was there really a talking snake? Is the world really just a few thousand years old? Do I have to believe that? These questions never stopped. As I got older, they got harder. Questions like, why is a book that's thousands of years old still relevant today? Or what happens to people who never have the chance to hear of Christ? Or basic one like, why am I a Christian and not a Muslim? The biggest one of all, how could a loving God allow evil things to happen to people? The biggest stumble to my faith, though, was from those who told me to just have faith, to quit asking questions. To me, this just meant that they didn't know the answers, or worse, that there possibly weren't answers. I began to understand why Christians are presented in society as bumbling idiots. I mean, have you ever watched Ned Flanders on The Simpsons? It's embarrassing to us as Christians. Finally, when people at work began to ask me, why in the world is a smart guy like you a Christian? Why do you believe this stuff? I knew I had to get it straight, so I began to study. I knew that if it was really true, then it must be defensible. It must be evident. It must be valid. Otherwise, it couldn't be the truth. And then, after 100 times of reading Matthew 22, I finally saw the word mind for the first time. Yes, the Bible actually tells us that we must love God with our mind. Well, that settled it. We don't have to shut our brains off. In fact, we're expected to use it. So I began the pursuit. I began studying the reasons, the apologia of the faith, just like Peter said we should do. Now, I really fear for our country. As we slide into a post-Christian culture, I believe that one of the greatest sins we're committing is not understanding what we believe and why, and not being able to explain it well. This results in many people not understanding the beauty of the Christian truth. They end up rejecting the real truth because all they hear are the errors. Many of us are simply not ready to engage in that discussion either. When we do this, the other position just wins by default. And when they don't hear the gospel presented accurately, the consequences can be devastating and heartbreaking. There's another mandate to us in the Bible presented here in 2 Corinthians. Now think about it. Are you ready to demolish those false arguments? Let me show you some of them. There's a couple authors here, recent authors who have been writing books, saying things like what Richard Dawkins said in The God Delusion. He said that faith can be very dangerous, and to deliberately implant it into the vulnerable mind of an innocent child is a grievous wrong. He also said that those who wish to base their morality literally on the Bible have either not read it nor understood it. Now, how would you answer Richard? Christopher Hitchens said recently that all religions and all churches are equally demented in their belief in divine intervention, divine intercession, or even the existence of the divine in the first place. And a man named Sam Harris has written a lot of books recently. In one of those books, he said that theology is nothing more than a branch of human ignorance. Indeed, it's ignorance with wings. He also said it's difficult to imagine a set of beliefs more suggestive of mental illness than those that lie at the heart of many of our religious traditions. Now, how would you answer these guys? Do you know how? Would it be a strong and valid argument? Would they cause you to doubt? Are your kids ready to answer these questions? Does your church address these? I don't believe that we can just ignore them. They are not going to go away. With the Christian Apologetics 101 curriculum, I teach you how to answer questions just like these. The bottom line about Christian apologetics comes down to that one question. Are you ready to address the questions about Christianity and why you're a Christian? If you need help with these answers yourself, or if you want to help your family understand better, or possibly even lead a small group or Bible study, then the Apologetics 101 curriculum was designed just for you. In the student curriculum, you'll receive a PDF file that you can copy and use. If you choose to teach, in addition to the curriculum, you'll also receive a PowerPoint presentation similar to this one you're watching right now that you can use to present from, that's based on the student curriculum. Further down in this webpage, you'll see a description of the topics that we'll review over the 12 weeks, as well as an example of both the curriculum and the PowerPoint. This way you'll know exactly what you'll be studying and teaching. Thank you so much for your interest in furthering the kingdom of God and in the Apologetics 101 curriculum. God bless you in your studies and your ministry.